I spoke before about how Catherine's identity is seen by the play as a socially constructed identity that Petruchio induces her to adopt. And I want to talk some more about that. I already said that Petruchio insists to everyone else that Catherine is a dream of a woman, that she's only hard to get along with when there are other people around, but that when the two of them are alone, they are very happy together, and she's very affectionate and feminine and lovable, all the things that a wife should be. So she's going to be as patient as a second Griselda. She's going to be like a Roman Lucretia for her chastity. So she's everything a woman should be. So that's one of his strategies. And we saw this as the strategy that the Lord is playing on Christopher Sly, when everyone around him is insisting, "You're a lord. Lords don't drink beer, they drink wine. Lords don't call their wives Joan or Marjorie, they call them lady. So you've got to be a lord this way because this is how a lord is." So Petruchio is doing the same thing. He is imposing that role on her. Another thing that Petruchio does is he acts out her shrewishness. Now, at the beginning of the play, we see her wrangling with her sister. We see her yelling and screaming and stomping. We hear the report of her breaking a lute over the head of her music teacher. And Petruchio also carries on in a very tantrum kind of way throughout the parts of the play where we see him performing for Catherine. So when he arrives at the wedding, he's dressed wrong. He swears at the priest that's performing the service and throws the wine that's left in the communion cup into the priest's face. And everyone is horrified because no one's allowed to behave this way in church. And of course, even Catherine, in all her shrewishness, has never behaved that badly. And then he says, "Nope, we're not staying for the wedding reception. You guys have fun. We're leaving." And when Catherine starts to throw a fit, it's as if he can't hear what she's saying about how she's going to stay, whether he does or not. He projects all of her negativity and contrariness onto other people and acts as if she is his poor little wife who needs rescue, and takes her away with him, almost in a kidnapping fashion, except they're already married. So then again, at his house, he is finding fault with everything in an exaggerated way, even more so than Catherine used to do in her single days. Nothing's good enough. The food isn't good enough. The bed isn't good enough. The dress isn't good enough. The hat isn't good enough. So he is acting out all of this bad behavior that basically leaves her no opportunity. So strategy number one, kind of impose that socially determined good wife role on her. Strategy number two, perform for her all of the shrewish negative behavior. And the characters say to each other, "Why, he's more shrew than she is." And then his third strategy is to arrive at a private agreement with Catherine. Now, you saw this list of steps toward marriage in a different video. One of the steps toward a good marriage is a private agreement. And his private agreement with Catherine is, of course, part of that big contract between husband and wife, that the husband's the boss and the wife has to say yes. But Petruchio makes it very clear to Catherine that the husband is not the boss because he really is more like God, more rational, more intelligent, more good than the wife. He makes it clear that he understands that it is totally arbitrary. And he does this by picking totally arbitrary things to pick fights about. So you see him say, well, let's see, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. If we leave now, we'll be at your folks at lunchtime. And she says, well, actually it's 2, and we'll be lucky to be there by dinner time. And he says, ugh, all you ever do is contradict me. And then he stomps out and says he's not going to go. And she thinks, okay, so if I just humor him and say that it's the time he says it is, then we're going to go. So as they go, you see them on the road, and he says, ah, such a beautiful moonlit night. And she says, it's sunlight, it's daytime. And he says, there you go again. We have to go back. All I ever get out of you is contradiction. So she says, okay, it's the sun. Whatever you want. If you think it's a candle, then it's a candle. But if you are saying it's the moon, fine, it's the moon. And they're heading out, and you think, poor Catherine, she's so beaten down. And then he passes this old guy, and he says, oh, honey, you're so cute. Catherine, tell this lovely young girl how adorable she is. And our friend who's seeing things as they really are says, he's going to make this man mad to make a woman out of him. And Catherine says, what a sweet, beautiful girl. Let me tell you that your future husband is so lucky that he's going to have such a great time in bed with you. So this is a very bizarre thing to say to a man, but Catherine is either really sticking it to Petruchio, or else she's thinking, this is a game I can play. If the game is to say outrageous things as long as my husband allows it, I can say things that are much more outrageous than he can. So they proceed to the father's house, and then in the last scene, while everyone's telling Petruchio, you're such a loser, you married such a witch, we're really all very sorry for you, he proves that he's got the wife that will agree with him. And she gets to scold her sister for being a terrible wife, unlike me, the good wife. And she does this with her dad's approval and with her new brother-in-law's envy. And everyone says, wow, Catherine's really changed. So as I see it, those are the strategies that Petruchio uses to make his new wife adopt her socially constructed role.